Good morning. My name is Cassidy Williams, and I will be introducing strategies 41 through 45 of the ELL Teacher's Toolbox. Throughout this presentation, we will look at strategies 41 through 45. I will conclude this presentation by presenting my resources that I used. Strategy 41 focuses on beginning of the school year procedures and guidelines. This strategy focuses on factors such as building relationships with students, designing instructional strategies, classroom organization, classroom management, and all other things that must be prepared before the school year begins. This strategy focuses mainly on two factors: building positive relationships and creating a safe, effective learning environment for all students. This strategy can be easily implemented through daily routines, clear course expectations, and through some class introduction strategies. Some daily routines that enhance the learning environment are greeting students at the door. By greeting students, you are able to check in with each student before they enter the classroom. Here you can gauge the mood each student is in before you begin your teaching. A good daily routine educators need to get into is calling students by their names frequently with the correct pronunciation. This signals respect to students and validates their belonging. Another beginning of the school implementation strategy are creating clear course expectations. Educators can do this by distributing a handout with general information about the class, either the first or second day of instruction. This handout will make policies and grading procedures clear to all students and will also lay out the learning goals and expectations for the year. By providing students with clear course expectations, you are eliminating any anxieties that may come along with the unknown. There are several introduction activities that you can use as an educator to help build that positive relationship amongst students and amongst student and teacher. This strategy suggests partner introductions just to kind of ease that anxiety that any one student may feel about presenting. Some introduction activities include I learn best when cards, I am projects. So throughout the I am projects, students create a poem or a poster that explains the things that they like, and it encourages students to describe themselves in a creative format. You could also do two truths and a lie for student introductions. And another popular introduction strategy is candy introductions. So using this introduction, each student would pick a piece of candy out of a bowl without looking, and each color of candy represents a different question. So for example, if a student pulls out a red candy, what is one thing, the question that correlates to red candy would be, what is one thing you like best about being at school? Blue candy, what is one thing you don't like about school? And each color of candy represents a different question. By implementing one or some of these strategies, you are able to break the ice and make students feel more comfortable more quickly in your classroom. It's important to remember that when you are deciding on beginning of the school year activities, that we don't make students feel pressured into sharing about their summer. This is because not all students had a positive summer experience. So we need to give students the opportunity to share about their summer in an honest way and not force a positive summer experience when students might not have had one. Strategy 42 discusses ending the school year. The end of the school year can be a difficult time for both teachers and students. With all important testing past us, it's hard to stay motivated and stay on track and continue to grow throughout the remainder of the year. It's important that teachers celebrate growth and continue learning with and alongside their students until the very last second in order to keep all students engaged. This strategy explores activities for the final months of school, activities for the final days of school, and some ideas for summer practice. Some activities for the final month include goal setting, include free choice units where students are free to make their own decision on the learning that they engage in. This will increase student engagement and help with inquiry-based learning. So students are practicing asking questions in order to dive deeper into the content they are researching. Another activity good for the final months of school would be visiting other classrooms. This encourages English language learners to learn from other classmates and other students in the school. We can also use this time to engage in field trips, and this year, especially virtual field trips. This can also help keep students engaged and get them excited about learning new things. Here is an example handout you can use in your classroom to include this goal setting to finish strong activity. So this goal setting sheet explores 3 things that the student wants to do, and then it encourages the student to take one or to create one action step as to how they will reach that goal. Each week, the student will check in with their goals. They will document the progress they made and what they will do differently next week in order to make the progress if they did not. And then it also encourages students to ask for help with some steps that they need to complete this project. Something as simple as this goal setting sheet can help with accountability through to the end of the school year. These little victories that students reach in those last weeks can be pivotal in continuing growth throughout the summer. This also allows students to become self-aware on what they need to do and the steps they need to take to reach their goals. This also gives students a sense of ownership in their own growth and their own learning. Strategy 42 also goes into detail about some activities educators can implement for the final days of school. Educators can encourage students to write advice for future learners that will enter this class. This allows the students an opportunity to reflect on the class and the learning they have done. They can also reflect on their growth that they have made throughout this entire year. It's a good idea for educators to hold on to beginning of the year writing pieces, speaking pieces, and reading assessments for learners to compare the beginning of the year starting point to where they are now. Assessing their own growth can serve as motivation to continue up their hard work throughout the summer. Students can also complete class and teacher evaluations to reflect on things they enjoyed and things they would change about the class. It's also important to encourage summer practice so students do not fall behind and slip up on their progress over the summer. Some schools have a program in place where libraries issue books or librarians visit classrooms so they can get library cards to check out books over the summer. Some schools provide students with online activities and online applications they can use. Also, some schools have summer work incentive programs in place. So if students complete work over the summer, they will receive extra credit or heightened grades when the next school year starts. Strategy 43 explores beginning and ending the class. Beginning the class explores routine activities that students automatically know to complete when they enter the classroom. Ending class procedures are meant to give students an opportunity to respond to new learning and wrap up the day. These are implemented through do nows and closure activities. Do nows include routine activities that students complete as soon as they enter the room in the morning. These can include independent reading, which allows students to explore their reading skills that they are learning in class. Partner reading, which allows students to explore their speaking skills as well as their listening skills when they are listening to their partner read. And notebook prompts. This helps students explore their writing skills. Some closure activities include shining moments, where the students think about the best thing that they completed throughout the day. A question menu that offers questions students can use to reflect on their learning or list something that they did well throughout the day and also make connections between learning that they completed. Students can also complete self-assessment exit tickets, sticky note compliments, 3-2-1 reflections, or 1-minute reports. Strategy 44 explores textbooks. These are resources adopted by some districts as part of the curriculum. Textbooks provide a guide for effective language teaching and helpful models. They also help educators save time, but textbooks are not an end-all be-all. Textbooks cannot replace good teaching strategies. Some ways for educators to use textbooks effectively could be by having students critique textbook chapters. So having the students reflect on what section or subsection was the most helpful in this textbook's chapter, or what visual aid helped me understand the context the most. Students can, or educators can also use textbooks to model read alouds or think alouds, in which educators model the thinking that they are going through while reading a nonfiction text. Textbook pictures can also be used for inductive modeling lessons, and graphic organizers are a great way to monitor comprehension as students are reading through the textbooks. Strategy 45 explores using technology. Using technology is a great way for educators to promote intrinsic motivation in English language learners. Intrinsic motivation is driven by 4 factors: autonomy, the amount of control a student has over a situation or how to complete an assignment; competence, or the feeling one has the ability to be successful; relatedness, so how much a student feels connected to others when completing it; and relevance, how interesting or useful and present the assignment is to students' lives. Hong Shi talks about how motivated learners are more likely to use more strategies than learners that are unmotivated. In order to implement this strategy, we can provide English language learners the opportunity to teach others, Using technology can be provided in independent work as well as through homework. Students can teach others by choosing a topic to research independently and preparing a lesson to share with their classmates. A learning opportunity like this can lead to increased motivation and increased academic achievement. Students can also use technology for independent study. This gives students the chance for procedural and organizational choice. They can organize the information they're learning in whatever way they want and go through whatever steps they please to get to the end result. These independent projects can be completed weekly or daily. Homework is another great way to use technology and implement it in your English language learning classroom. It's important that we are focusing also on typing and keyboarding skills and providing opportunities for students to explore online language learning sites and setting realistic expectations for doing so.